कुमार स्वामी नायक गोंगो लुगु लटोका रेडियो Fiji 2 में पुराना गाना लगे हमें बहुत अच्छा लगे।
रेडियो Fiji 2 देश की धड़कन।
Good evening, Fiji. In this bulletin, 4 claim wrongful detainment by police. Whistleblowers come forward. And more sail in under Blue Lane initiative.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
4 men who were working late in Suva on Friday night claimed they were wrongfully detained at the Totonga police station after being falsely accused of breaching curfew. Kelly Vavala reports they had gone to the police station before 11 p.m. but were instead arrested and detained overnight.
These men went to the Totonga police station because they couldn't find a taxi and thought police may be able to help.
And he said, okay, just take him inside, block in the cell. Since it's curfew hours, and why they are roaming around here. In fact, we were not roaming and we were walking there. And he doesn't want to listen. And what they did, they took all our stuff, put in a cabinet, and just for us game to be in the cell.
Before leaving their office, the 4 had already called the police command center, informing them of their situation since their transport was running late.
They tell us to go to the nearest police station, so that was nearest to us, and we went there before 11. They advise us go to the police station before 11. If you go after 11, you're gonna break the curfew. So they advise us. So we were there before, 2 minutes before, and 2 minutes counts.
The men have also raised concerns regarding the behavior of some police officers at the station, calling it unjust and rude.
As soon as we reach there, look at that time, already 11 o'clock past, you can break the curfew. Go, mai, vesumanda. Okay, this one talk. They don't want to hear our side story.
It was very rude, unethical. In the police logo, it says saving the people. It was not the saving the people, it was totally opposite.
The 4 men were released from the Totonga police station yesterday afternoon after 18 hours of being detained. This morning, they made their way back here to lodge a report against those officers who might have been involved. Police are investigating these claims, and Acting Police Commissioner Rusiati Tundravu has directed a full report to be submitted to him regarding the circumstances surrounding the alleged detainment. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
The Fiji Revenue and Customs Service continues to receive tips from whistleblowers on almost a daily basis. Director Revenue Management Fazrul Rahman says information received generally relates to taxes not being paid, overclaiming of expenses and cash transactions. Kelly Vavala again.
The tax collection agency profiles all whistleblower cases and assesses the credibility of information before an audit investigation is determined.
The point is that we have to look at the credibility of the information. We have to ensure that we do an element of risk profiling to be very clear before we undertake any audit investigation. People do report to us with regards to rental incomes not being declared. People do report to us with somebody having a very good lifestyle, but there's a suspicion that they are not in the system.
Fazrul Rahman says some reports received include the failure of businesses to issue proper invoices for transactions.
As you know, that somebody who is earning below $30,000 is not required to pay tax. So if there's a whistleblower cases around that, then of course we want the person to lose the return, but ultimately it might not lead to the collection of tax revenue.
The FRCS says they're also approaching large businesses that may have sophisticated record-keeping system, not declaring their income. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
Police are working round the clock to nab suspected buyers of stolen items. A Suva businessman was recently questioned for allegedly receiving stolen property. A raid at his shop resulted in the seizure of a number of pieces of jewellery believed to have been stolen. Police Chief of Operations ACP Abdul Khan says investigators are now re-looking at all past cases of theft and contacting victims to identify any possible stolen property. ACP Khan says investigations are still underway.
There was a number of cases of snatching of change and other things. Officers who have been working around the clock to not identify only the suspects that have been stealing the jewelry, but going down the line to see as who are the buyers, the receivers that we are talking about. So they have gone down that and they have recovered a number of jewelries that was there.
An estimated $10 million has been injected into the economy through the Blue Lane initiative. The Blue Lane was established for yachts and pleasure crafts to enter Fiji and assist in the recovery of the ailing tourism industry. Pranita Prakash reports.
The Port NRL Marina has seen a positive response to Fiji's decision to allow vessels to sail in under strict COVID-19 protocols.
Yachties are extremely pleased to be here since majority of the borders are closed around the world, and also Australia and New Zealand are not receiving them. It's been extremely positive. People are happy to be here. It's beautiful weather. People are walking mask-free, which is a big deal. And they're feeling very safe to be in Fiji at this time.
Chief Executive Cynthia Rush says 313 people have entered Fiji under this initiative, bringing money into the economy.
Just judging from the averages that we have done in the past surveys, I would say we're looking at between about 5 to 10 million approximately. Now that's just an indicative figure. We need to get a survey done, which will be done through MCTTT at the end of the year, and we would have a better indication. A lot of the boats that have come through are also carrying out a fair bit of major maintenance work. One that just arrived a week ago has indicated that they've spent 100,000 Fijian dollars in a week.
A lot of work is being carried out to cushion the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic on the tourism sector.
Fijian government, in partnership with key industry stakeholders, have been working collaboratively to mitigate the impacts of COVID-19 in the tourism industry.
90 yachts have arrived at Port Denara Marina so far, with another 4 being approved and 1 being cleared yesterday. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
Opposition MP Niko Nawaikula has taken to Facebook posting false statements about the Auditor General's report on the Fijian Broadcasting Corporation. Nawaikula makes a number of comments attributed to the Office of the Auditor General's latest report on government commercial companies. However, when approached by FBC News for clarification, Auditor General Ajay Nunn stated that his office is not in a position to make a media statement relating to audit reports. Nunn says this would impair the independence of his office. FBC News is in the process of getting a comment from the Parliamentary Committee on Economic Affairs. Up ahead, traditional knowledge can fight climate change. And a successful Fijian, young Fijian ventures into own business.
मैं तो दिल्ली में रहता हूँ और रेडियो फीजी रोज सुनता हूँ।
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
Women's rights groups have expressed their disgust at social media attacks against MP Lenora Ngerengere-Tambua. Social media commentator Kishore Kumar on his Facebook page has made several public videos alleging that Ngerengere-Tambua has a pornographic video. The Fiji Women's Crisis Centre, Femlink Pacific and the Fiji Women's Rights Movement say Kumar is vilifying and defaming female members of parliament. They say the public posts contain abusive and sexually derogatory remarks against Ngerengere-Tambua and have called for urgent action to address the disturbing series of attacks from Kumar. The NGO group adds it is disturbing that Kumar is a high school teacher and is allowed into classrooms despite his unethical and misogynistic behaviour. The women's human rights groups have called for the Fiji Police Force, the Human Rights and Anti-Discrimination Commission and the Online Safety Commission to investigate. Knowledge sharing is one of the major challenges for the younger generation trying to find ways to address climate change. Activist Amelia Kami says the impacts of climate change can be addressed if we can tap into the traditional knowledge of our elders. Sainiani Boiler reports.
Indigenous knowledge has solutions which can address the effects of climate crisis, making it crucial for different age groups to work together.
We have to make the effort to have them with our elderly community, with our elders, because I have a very strong belief that our Indigenous knowledge as Pacific Islanders does have the solutions for climate change, for the climate crisis.
But diplomat Lithia Mawi says social media is the best way to share traditional practices with the younger generation.
To me, the solution that I find, we can't get together with you youngsters because we get together and you're just looking down at your phones. You guys don't even listen to us. So I find that my way out of that is to be on Facebook, Messenger, Instagram, WhatsApp, Snapchat, and Twitter. That's the only way I can get through to you. But not all of us elderly folks. I'm 3 times plus your age, but we can get together in cyberspace.
Mawi says it's crucial that all stakeholders work together to ensure that we find ways of addressing the climate crisis for our future generation. Sainiani Mboila, FBC News.
Close to 200 plants believed to be marijuana were uprooted from a farm in Vunanu Serua earlier this week. In custody is a 40-year-old farmer for his alleged involvement in the cultivation of the illicit substances. In a separate incident, a farmer in his 30s was arrested following the discovery of plants believed to be marijuana in Semo village, Nandrunga. Another raid was conducted at the Number Ono settlement in the Wainimbuka area, which led to the discovery of plants believed to be marijuana. The owner of the farm is yet to be arrested. Raids and seizures continue on Kandava with more than 500 plants discovered through aerial surveillance. The operations team also intercepted a possible trade in Vunisere, but the suspect threw away the bag containing more than 300 sachets of dried leaves believed to be marijuana. Chief Operations Officer ACP Abdul Khan says information has also been forthcoming from the public about cultivation in other areas. Never let an obstacle in the road be the end to your journey. Today's successful Fijian features the owner of the single origin coffee in Fiji, 20-year-old Raid Hamid, who says COVID-19 should not get you down. Sainiani Boiler with this success story.
The COVID-19 pandemic has never reason for Hamid to quit.
The year before my final year, I went to international school Suva. And then for my final year, I did foundation at USP. After that, I went to Melbourne in Australia to do a diploma in business at Monash University, which would have taken me to a Bachelor of Finance and Bachelor of Risk Management. But because of COVID, classes went online, so I had to come back to Fiji in July.
While most of the world was reeling from the financial impacts of the coronavirus, Hamid decided to open a coffee shop since his family grows coffee beans.
And now I focused on the business side because both my parents are business people, so this was always the goal. I'm going to take about a year and a half off and then go back.
The former international student says COVID-19 has forced him to come up with new ideas to be sustainable.
So, my dad owns Coffee Farms Fiji, which is a green bean processor. He started that 3 to 4 years ago in Tivvy because it takes 2 to 3 years for coffee to grow. So this year, or let's say towards the end of last year, we had our first harvest of green beans. So we opened this shop as an incubation to see how the product would be consumed and if it is a well-received product. So this is the first coffee shop, and it is one of the only coffee shops in Fiji which serves like freshly roasted coffee and coffee from Fiji. Most coffee shops get it from other countries because the supply chain is not well established here in Fiji.
The young businessman adds growing competition has been one of the major challenges since opening the coffee shop.
At the moment is the fact that there's 20 to 30 coffee shops in Suva alone, so there's so much competition for us.
He says keep on keeping on is his motto to a successful life.
I reckon COVID-19 will be there for a while. There's no point in waiting for it to finish because it's a disease, it'll still be there. So you should keep trying things. Even if you're going to fail, you should just try to do it and see the outcome because there's no harm in trying.
Raid Hamid also has plans in place to venture into other new businesses while waiting to continue his education overseas. Sainiani Mboila, FBC News.
Ahead in sports, families ready for Grand Final. And Suva thumps Nasinu. This and more coming up.
pula nadang ko aprosan ngarse go erkraki do televe on barong na Radio Fiji 1 nandomo ibit.
Radio Fiji 1 nandomo ibit.
The families of NRL stars Viliame Kikau, Apisai Koroisau and Suliasi Vunivalu have something planned for the grand final tonight. A win will be special for both teams as it's Vunivalu's last game for the Storm before he joins the Reds next season. For Kikau, it will be his first NRL title. Aquila Dama with the story.
Counting down the hours before the NRL Grand Final, and for the residents of Mbangasau in Suva, the home of Suliasi Vunivalu, it's more than just a game.
There's nothing else we can do. We just want to thank you, Suli, for the past few years you've been playing for the Melbourne Storm and you've painted a positive picture about Mbangasau. And we all want to wish you all the best in the grand final.
For the Kikaus, it's quite an emotional journey. However, his elder brother delivered a special message for him earlier this week.
As I've always told you, you've been trained for this. You've done the hard yards. You've cried. You've trained yourself. Enjoy this game like any other game.
At Saunaka village in Nandi, the Koroisau's can't wait for the final.
The villagers of Saunaka, the Vanua of Nandi and Fiji, as well as those who love to watch Apisai Koroisau, are looking forward to watch him play in the final.
It's also quite an achievement for the Fiji National Rugby League, with 3 Mbati reps featuring in the final tonight. Aquila Dama, FBC Sports.
Tailevo has secured a place in the 2021 Skipper Cup competition. This is after it defeated Naitasiri 24-19 in round 13 of the Skipper Cup at the Nakelo District School Ground yesterday. The side has now set their focus on the Fairbrother Challenge next week.
Tailevo needed the 4 points to confirm its place in the Skipper Cup next season, and the win has guaranteed their survival.
Yeah, as I mentioned in my previous interview, on my watch, we don't want Tailevo to go down. And I thank the boys today. They have done the job. And I believe that come next week, we'll try to get the Fairbrother from them.
The plan was simple from the start for Tailevo, and it paid off in the end.
Because we know that Naitasiri has got a big forward to hustle them and to run away from the big forwards. And I believe our plan worked out today.
For Naitasiri, indiscipline caused their downfall.
The Tailevo team really pressurized us. We lost our discipline. Couldn't afford to have two in the bin for that time. Playing with 40 men for 60 minutes, a bit hard on us.
The Tailevo win means Lautoka and Yasawa will be relegated to the Vanua Championship next season. Aquila Dama, FBC Sports.
A swift second-half change in the game plan drove Rewa to victory in being crowned champions in the Vodafone Vanua Cup at Lawanga Park in Singatoka yesterday. The side trailed Northland by 6 points before fullback Apeni Sandeve converted Ratupeniseni Kotoisuva's last-minute try in a nail-biting match. Chisaina Nunga tells us more.
The crowd was on their feet and players murmured silent prayers as all eyes were glued to this final conversion from Rewa. Apeni Sandeve says this was his only chance to prove his worth after missing 3 penalties in the first half.
I want to thank the Lord for the strength. I know that my teammates and Rewa supporters have hopes on that 2 points, and that will be the game decider. I believed and kept reminding myself that I can do it, and it eventually happened.
Rewa coach Ro Alitheratin Dobi Berata says the second half was crucial as they had to change their game plan.
They just didn't play according to the game plan that we put out in the first half. I was very cross with them at halftime. I just told them what we had talked about before the game. They did exactly the opposite. And when they changed it at halftime, I think we got the result that we wanted.
He also says the team has delivered on a promise to not only secure a spot in the 2021 Skipper Cup, but also win the Vanua Cup. Meanwhile, Madhuwata defeated Serua 34 points to 24 in the women's final, while Mba beat Northland 20 points to 14 in the under-19 division. Jose Nagunga, FBC Sports.
Tambandamu is the new champion of the 13th Fiji Bitter Savu Savu Sevens. The Mara Sevens champions with Chone Vota, Leo Naikasal, Daniela Thakaunivalu and Josefa Masi defeated a star-studded Police Blue side 12-7 in the final. It was a repeat of the Mara Sevens final and Tambandamu managed to score 2 tries. First it was former Wardens rep Simi Dede before Josefa Masi, who was the find of the tournament, dotted down between the sticks for the second try. National Sevens rep Waisena Dungu scored the lone try for Police. The Naikasal-led Tambandamu side won $7,000 for winning the tournament. The Flow Valve Suva football side has moved up in the Vodafone Premier League table after thrashing AMPS Industries Nasinu 5-0 at the NZ Stadium today. Suva strikers Christopher Wasasala and Sairusi Nalaumbu were in devastating form as Nasinu defenders could not match up with their speed. Wasasala and Nalaumbu scored a double each while Josefa Verevo also bagged the goal. Suva has 25 points from 12 matches, taking over from Rewa in the top spot who has 23 points. Nasino, on the other hand, has gone down to the last spot with 8 points. Suva coach Babs Khan praised their strikers for putting in the hard work throughout the game.
All we wanted to do is just to keep ball possession, and as soon as we got the ball, we just wanted to go on counters. And thanks to the strikers, they worked hard. I mean, they've been working hard all week.
The Nandi football team's win over Bar yesterday has put them in contention for the VPL title. A goal in the second half and strong defence was enough for the Jet Setters to see out the Men in Black. Details with Felipe Naikaso.
It was a very important win for Nandi yesterday, as it means they're still in the hunt for the ultimate prize.
I talked with the boys to get up now into play, so we have to play like what actually Nandi play. So in this game, we got a chance to come in a league second position.
The first half saw a lot of chances from both teams, however they could not capitalize. It wasn't until the 58th minute of play that Nandi broke the deadlock.
Second half, our coach and we have talked to the boys. We have missed few chances in the first half and tried hard to score, and we can do score. And boys went hard and the victory comes to Nandi.
The loss is the end of the road for Mba as a few matches remain.
Very, very disappointing result. To have a chance at the lead, we had to win every game. So I think league is out of our hands now. So we'll take the next 2 games to build up for the Fiji Fact, because we definitely need to win something this year.
Nandi will now aim to win all the remaining games to have a chance at the title. Felipe Naikaso, FBC Sports.
Defending champions Liverpool returned to winning ways in the Premier League with a hard-fought comeback over struggling Sheffield United this morning. And in weather, mostly cloudy conditions with few showers was experienced over the eastern and northern parts of the country today. Fine weather prevailed elsewhere with isolated showers in the afternoon. A quick look at the weather map in the west. Cloudy conditions and slight showers prevail for most of the day. Eastwards from Pacific Harbour to Suva, a bit of cloud cover in some places, but sunny conditions lasted for most of the day. And up north, showers and cloudy conditions. At sea, a strong wind warning remains in force for all Fiji waters. Southeast winds 20 to 25 knots, rough seas. Turning to the tides, low tide is at 8:08 p.m. with the next high tide at 2:36 tomorrow morning. Sunrise is at 5:30 tomorrow. Now for tomorrow, expect cloudy periods with some showers and isolated thunderstorms over the eastern half of Vanuatu, Tivvy and nearby smaller islands. Isolated heavy falls with thunderstorms are likely. Brief showers over eastern and interior of Viti. And now our further outlook is for cloudy periods with brief showers over the eastern parts and interior of the other larger islands. Elsewhere fine apart from isolated afternoon or evening showers. And recapping the main stories for tonight, claim wrongful detainment by police. Whistleblowers come forward and more sailing under Blue Lane Initiative. Now for these stories and others, tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. Our poll question we're asking, should curfew remain for the rest of the year? Visit our FBC website to answer. Be sure to send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj, via Facebook page FBC News and our Twitter page at FBC_news, or simply hashtag FBC News. That's your news for tonight. Until tomorrow, from the team and I, have a safe and blessed new week ahead. Bye for now.
Bula FM, number 2 NSR.
Bula FM, number 2 NSR.